If you were a kid of the 90s and you liked scary stories, especially those forbidden by your parents because they knew you'd have nightmares, you probably snuck out of bed one night, turned on the TV, and if you were lucky enough to have cable, you flipped over to an episode of Tales from the Crypt. You probably only made it past the opening before jumping out of your seat and hightailing it back to bed, thanks to the spine-chilling cackle of a decomposing corpse called the Crypt Keeper. Tales from the Crypt was a horror anthology television series that ran from 1989 to 1996 on HBO. The series is based on a comic book of the same name, originally published in the 1950s. The show featured a whole host of celebrities, along with tantalizing storylines that at the time were only made for late-night, uncensored television of the 90s. Though new episodes of the show came to an end, the Crypt Keeper is very much still alive because of voiceover genius and Baltimore-born John Kassir.
Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. You know, a lot of people ask me how I got the gig doing the voice of the Crypt Keeper. It's a fun answer. I was already doing a series for HBO called First and 10, which was their first series. I played Zagreb Shkinuski. I was a field goal kicker who could kick 50-yard field goals, 60-yard field goals like Justin Tucker. And they knew that I did a bunch of characters and voices in my act, in my stand-up routine. So they asked me to come audition down at Kevin Yeager's studio. And Kevin Yeager, of course, is the creature maker who, had designed Freddy Krueger's makeup and made Chucky. And so I was excited just to go down to Kevin Yeager's studio. And there he was working on the puppet, He even had used, he was making them out of spare parts because they didn't give him much money to work with at first. He even had used some spare Chucky eyes on the Crypt Keeper. So a lot of people don't even know that. So I got to see what he looked like. And, I know Kevin had been auditioning all kinds of stand-up comics and actors and voiceover guys. And I could see that he was a little frustrated because he just wasn't finding it. And I came into his studio and I could see that the Crypt Keeper had rotting teeth and holes in his throat. And, I started thinking, oh, this is so much fun. I could see some of the actors reading the copy going, oh, my God, this is terrible, seeing these puns. Be careful what you ask for. You may get it, and that kind of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, they don't get it. I had collected the comic books as a kid and knew that this was Shakespeare to this guy. And I remember Alfred Hitchcock on his show, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, doing fun puns and, how they were, the highest form of alliteration. I started thinking, well, okay, he's a host. It's, I don't think the other actors got the fact they were trying to make him creepy and scary. And he is creepy and scary, but he's supposed to be funny. This is supposed to be the guy that lets you know that this is supposed to be fun. So I started doing the voice for Kevin, and he started shaking his head and going, oh, yeah, yeah, that's great. Come on, kiddies, be careful what you ask for. You may get it. And he was, he just kept going, give me more. I started improvising and laughing, and then he started laughing, which made me laugh even more. And I'm like, great, the Crypt Keeper laughs at his own jokes. And the next day he had me doing it for Joel Silver and Richard Donner, two of the biggest guys in the business and two of the big producers on the show. It, wound up being one of the shows that helped launch HBO from something that people would occasionally get to see to something that people had to have in their home. But little did we know that the biggest audience that we had were kids that were sneaking down and watching it. It was during a period where parents were a little hipper and they'd let their kids watch it. And now the fan base are adults and they've turned their kids onto it. So really it went from what I thought would be cult fandom to pop culture fandom, and it's huge. And I just can't tell you how many people come up to me and go, wow, it was just like the thing. It was, I like to say to people, yeah, well, it was the gateway drug to horror.
Well, thanks again for hopping on a call with me. Can we get a dope farewell from you and the voice that we've all grown to love for decades?
Of course. Hello, kiddies, and hello, boils and ghouls, and all my fiends at the Baltimore Banner. Happy Halloween, and may all your screams come true.